Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Larkin, one half of the Steve and Mike Show. www.steveandmikeshow.com is up and running, where you can hear such shows as you're about to hear today. This is another edition of On the Mic with Mike, and I'm pleased to have on, oh my goodness, the lovely, the beautiful, the talented Miss Jennifer Thomas. Jennifer, how you doing today?
I am doing so awesome, especially right now at this moment, being with you. So I am happy to be here. I'm happy to answer all your questions and give you the story of my life and all the beat downs that come with it.
Jen, I gotta tell you something.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to take you back to 13-year-old Mike Larkin here. So Steve Gerwick, who still has his website, gerwick.net, he would talk about wrestling news, talk about ratings, you just talk about everything in the world with wrestling. I used to go to the WWE profile page that he would have on his website and look at what's been going on in developmental, what's going on with the main roster, what have you, and I was in junior high doing this. So being the wrestling fan that I was, doing homework and looking at wrestling was my thing, and it still is to this day, because life is one big homework. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I remember seeing your profile on there because they were talking about the developmental talents, and I gotta say, even you still are looking absolutely gorgeous.
Well, thank you very much. I always try to, not let time go against me. I want time to go with me and for me, and I try to just be the best that I can in every moment, every year, and improve with every year. So I appreciate that. That's great. That's like quite the compliment to know that I've still maintained a level of physical fitness and beauty throughout the years. So thank you.
You are very welcome. I got to tell you, whether it be OVW, I know you started back in UPW, those are like the true proving grounds. I mean, the alumni, like your John Cena's, your Samoa Joe's, your Frankie Kazarian's, your Batista's, your Randy Orton's, respectively, with OVW and UPW. What an alumni, and what a great feeding system, and just, developmental for WWE. You get to hone their skills. Rick Bassman and Danny Davis, respectively, with OVW and UPW.
Yes, absolutely. And I totally believe that, in order to really be the best in whatever you're trying to do, you need to hang out with the best. You need to train with the best. And that was my philosophy back then, and that's my philosophy back now, or like right now. So basically, I started with the best. And I am so grateful that I was at that time being able to be with the top stars, like CM Punk, Phoenix, all of them. They're such an amazing athletes and performers, and like I said, I'm very grateful. I'm especially grateful to Rick Bassman, because when I wanted to quit, he freaking wouldn't let me quit. He made me stick it through, and he's one of the major reasons why I am where I am today. So I thank you, Rick Bassman.
I gotta say this to you, because like when you talk about like the CM Punk in that class with OVW, because you're in the like elite class with like, I remember Shag Gaspard and JTG, the Neighborhoody Crime Time was in there, the Jablonskis, Chet and Dean. I mean, you had so many great talents in that OVW, but I have to say this, there was Beth Phoenix, there was the one and only Shelly Martinez, there was Katie Lee Burchill, I believe Victoria Crawford, aka Alicia Fox, was in your class as well. So we had a lot of great women around the time, and even one ODB who would go on to TNA.
Oh yeah, ODB and Tracy Brooks. Well, Tracy Brooks wasn't at OVW, but I got to wrestle with her. And yeah, definitely Julian Hall, Mickey James. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm like everything is about timing, right? And I was definitely at the right place at the right time. And I don't even think I even knew that at the time, that I was at the right place at the right time, but I was, and I'm going to keep on saying it. I'm grateful. So that's going to be my theme interview. I am grateful.
No, I love it. And I mean, I had to just bring that up with you because I've followed your stuff since OVW and UPW, just got to see that. I know Paul Heyman was doing a lot of TV and doing a lot of writing with OVW. I know he had a lot of investment with the OVW product. So I got to ask you, are you a Paul Heyman girl? We got to talk about the Heyman Hustle for a second, because I saw you doing your thing on the Heyman Hustle back in the day as well.
Yes. Heyman has a very special place in my heart, and he will have that forever. He has been such a mentor to me, and we have stayed in touch throughout the years, and he's even hired me on his own projects separate from wrestling and OVW, and he's working currently on big projects out in Vegas, that when they go through, he wants me involved in them. So Paul Heyman is just kind of like one of those special stars, one of those angels on this planet that he's just such an amazing man. And I don't really, I've never, to be honest with you, when I was at OVW, I didn't even know who a lot of these people were, what their reputations were, because I didn't start off being a wrestling fan. So, like, Paul Heyman was just Paul Heyman to me. I didn't realize that he was, like, the ECW creator and everything that he is. I didn't know that. So I feel like I know Paul Heyman as Paul Heyman for who he is as a person. And he's definitely an awesome and amazing guy, very creative guy. And I'm so envious of just how much charisma, how much enthusiasm he has for life, and what he's done for Brock Lesnar and for everybody that he's touched throughout his career. And he's, like I said, one of those special people that he's going to be a lifetime friend. And I love Paul. So, yeah.
Now, I think you've had so many like different gimmick names as well, because I remember, I believe in OVW you were Daisy May, and then later on, I remember, I believe you were like Snowball Chloe, like a Playmate type character on the indies for a short time. So you've had a lot of gimmicks as well and a lot of name changes. But I gotta say, with whatever that you did, you made it work, and it was always a joy to watch.
Well, cool. You know what? Wrestling is like my life. Okay, not necessarily like it's it's my journey of trying to find who I am as a person. So it's just kind of like I'm trying to find myself through wrestling. And I started off as Karma, and Karma's the one that really stuck the most to me. And ironically, WWE bought Karma off of me and gave it to Awesome Kong for her little short stint with WWE. So once I bought Karma, I had to change my name to Snow Cow Chloe. And I never knew, do I want to be like the good girl, or do I want to be the badass heel, like the tough chick? Because I have, physically, even though I'm small, I have a lot of compact muscle and I look pretty powerful. So I never knew what kind of character to be. And I have changed a lot with my characters and been able to play them off pretty well. And it's almost kind of nice to be able to change my character, because then I'm not stuck with just one, because I get bored of myself pretty easily. So yeah, like I'll be wrestling next week in Fontana for NASCAR, and I want to just be me, Jennifer, Jennifer Thomas. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I gotta say though, because with you, like I'm just gonna mention the women's evolution revolution. I'll include you in this because we see so many great talents now, from like your Charlottes, Sasha, Becky, Bailey, etc. Whether it be in WWE, Impact Wrestling as they are known now, Ring of Honor, Japan, ICW in the UK, Mexico, Luchadoras all over. I think the incredible amount of talent that we have right now is absolutely excellent. So I have to give it much love to the women that paved the way, from your Moolahs, your Mae Youngs, your Wendy Richters, and going into now with yourself included in that list, Jennifer. I got to give bravo and much kudos to the ladies.
Yes, and I love that more women are getting into wrestling, because it's not one of those traditional type of women roles that women are supposed to take, and I just love how women are like, they're empowering themselves by doing things that, it just shows so much strength and so much spirit and so much personality. And I just, I absolutely love that. And I'm happy to be a part of it. So yes, it is. There's so many more women doing pro wrestling and getting into the sport. It's absolutely amazing to me. And I just hope it continues to grow and maintain its speed of development, because women have a lot of power out there, and they're a major influence to, any industry or just to the world and period, So yeah.
I think the announcement also this week, because we're going to mention Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, in a second, but wow, Women of Wrestling, their deal now Fridays, 9 p.m., Access TV. They've been around for a while. They're opening up their all-female wrestling school, the all-women's wrestling school, which is amazing. So I think that adds another school to it, because there's so many schools out there for men and women. Like you look at Long Island, where I'm from, Creative Pro with Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins, the New York Wrestling Connection, the Monster Factories, the dojos, so many wrestling wrestling schools. I think that's wonderful to have the first ever like all female wrestling school, and just in general, just the amount of wrestling knowledge and the amount of wrestling schools that are out there is wonderful for the guys and gals looking into getting into professional wrestling.
Absolutely. The more opportunities, um, the better. These schools provide those opportunities for women, especially the all girls schools, um, to go somewhere. Because when I first started, there was only just UPW. There was one school in all of Los Angeles, so you didn't really have a choice of going anywhere else. But now, like, with more choices, and especially for women, if they don't want to be like clotheslined by men when they're just starting, you know, um, they can go with just all women and work with just women. Me personally, I actually kind of liked. There's the pros and the cons with training with men. The men definitely make you more aggressive and more intense because you learn how to give it and you learn how to take it. But then you can also start wrestling like a man too. So you kind of lose your sex appeal or your little diva side to you because you've been training so much with men, you know. So it's definitely like if I had a choice now where to go, like all women or all men, I think I would do both, just because I want to have that intensity as a man, but also be more diva and girly girl with the women, if that makes any sense at all.
I absolutely understand.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at how like intergender wrestling has become like taken over too. I see a gentleman by the name of Sizzling Stan Styles. He's got his intergender bonanza. He's doing many events in that realm. I mean, you take it back to the 80s with your Andy Kaufman being the intergender champion of the world. Jerry Lawler, the infamous David Letterman throwing coffee on him. And then you look at like Lucha Underground and what they're doing, what's going on the independent circuit. I mean, WWE, you see the mixed match challenge, and we got to see Nia Jax repping it and taking RKOs at 619s in the Royal Rumble this year. So I think the evolution of intergender wrestling also plays into that, because I agree with you. Whether it be wrestling, I think both. I think helps, and it gives you different array, different plethora, and different variety to go in there. Whether it just be wrestling with men, wrestling with women, I like that, and I personally love how intergender wrestling has come to its fold now as well.
Yes, me too. Absolutely, because I see nothing wrong with it at all. I think a woman can go with a man, toe to toe. So, and I've always been a believer of that, and that's why, I have my website, Fashion Girl, where it's mixed wrestling as well. It's just more on the private end of mixed wrestling, where there is no audience. And, I've been a fan of that for years. To me, that was like getting paid to do my homework. I would go learn and do my stuff with Al Snow at OVW, and then I go get paid to do it privately. And for me, it was like perfect. It was like a win-win scenario for me. So I am happy to see mixed wrestling becoming more acceptable in mainstream society. And I'm always going to be a promoter of that. And I wish I could take away some of the taboos that are involved with it. And hopefully that will happen within time. Because there's the pros and the cons to everything, and I want to have as many pros as I can, so.
I got to mention this as well, because you mentioned Session Girls, and I got to get to this because, I mean, I see there's like the likes of Leah LeBeau, Veronica Valentine, Safa Warda, Sarah Brooke, Lana Luxor, Hollywood. You got Glow Hollywood up in there. I saw you doing your thing with her, interviewing her. Just Hollywood's up in the mix, an amazing talent, amazing human being in her own right. So you got a lot of great girls that you have with the Session Girls, and I love the website. I think it exemplifies and accentuates you ladies well. It really does.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's kind of like a mix of fantasy and reality. You have fantasy women that are athletes, that are brave and courageous and strong and willing to take on a man, and that's what I'm all about. And to have these women on my website, again, I am grateful, because not only are they great with what they do, they're great as people as well. They're just great characters, and I love knowing them. I love working with them, and we're almost kind of like a sisterhood. We're a family. So it's been a great journey as far as Session Girls and the women that's on that site. Eventually, I'd like to create another website, which I already own the domain for, called Session Girls Elite. And that's going to be like where it's more pro, strictly athlete-based kind of girls that are willing to do sessions. So it's because right now session girls is a blend of everything. It's almost kind of like a I don't want to call it a strip club, but it's a blend of like a strip club type with athletes in it, where I want a separate section where it's just strictly fully athletes and you're meeting at a professional dojo place and they're willing to take you on and just totally whip your ass. Maybe there's even uniforms involved where, you know, they're not wearing bikinis, they're actually wearing sport outfits. And it's just on a more professional kind of level. So that's my goal for the future, or one of my goals for the future.
I got to tell you, I can't wait till that really goes, because people, if you're not checking out Session Girls, we got a lot of great, beautiful women, and we got you, the great Jennifer Thomas, just doing up, kicking men's butts. And I just got to tell you, it's like the bullies back in the day. Man, do not take my lunch money. Don't take my lunch money, please. I'm just gonna go hide away. I'm just gonna get away. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are so powerful. Y'all so talented, and I love it. I really look forward to the launch of that website, wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Jen. I have to mention this as well. We got to get into the LFC realm, and then we'll get back to wrestling in a second. But lingerie fighting championship, man, oh man. We got a blend of mixed martial arts. We got a blend of wrestling, kickboxing. We got judo. I got to give a lot of credit to Greg Frito. I've been seeing what Greg's been doing with you ladies, training you when you're in Vegas. Greg being under the tutelage of the Mayweathers, just an amazing trainer, amazing drills. I really do love it, and I think LFC really exemplifies the beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements of a woman and as a fighter as well. But speaking of a fighter, I got to talk about Jenny Bloody Valentine. Now, tell me, how did that nickname come about, Bloody Valentine? Because me, I'm a pop culture nerd. And when I think of Valentine, I think of that punk rock group. I'm talking about Bullet for My Valentine. So can you tell me, how did Jenny Bloody Valentine, how that nickname come to fruition, Jen?
You know what? I wish I could give you the answer, Mike, but unfortunately I can't, because that name was just straight out to me like a freaking meal ticket. Your name is going to be Jenny Bloody Valentine. And I'm like, okay. First of all, I hate the name Jenny. Anytime someone calls me freaking Jenny, I'll freaking want to knock them out right then and there. So, but that might be a good thing, because when my opponent calls me Jenny, it's already going to have me freaking all hot. So yeah. But I don't know. That was just a name given to me, and I'm like, sure, why not? I'll take it. Just another character like all my other ones. I like it. It doesn't make me sound, it makes me sound vicious. And I can be pretty vicious.
All right, let me try to decipher this for a second, because, all right, when I think of Jenny Bloody Valentine, I think, man, like you mentioned, the vicious side, is it maybe you leave them bloody, you just get that one shot in, there's some trickle of blood coming down the face or blood on a body part. I mean, it's cool. It has like that horror-esque type of thing to it. It's like, man, you're ready to slash them kind of deal. So it sounds cool. It's very edgy. That's what I think is also an integral part about LFC. You got so many nicknames. For example, one of yours, Terry Feisty Fist London, Allie Baby Doll Parks, Jesse El Toro Santos, black teams, pink teams. There's so many great nicknames, and Bloody Valentine included in those nicknames. They really accentuate the ladies as well as their overall characters, and that's what I also love, because the uniqueness of it, It's kind of like, for instance, Serena Honey Punch Kyle, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, Muhammad Ali. You incorporate a lot of elements to it, and it equates to real life. So I agree with you on that. Some just gotta yeah.
Well, if you think about it, you think bloody, you think vicious. Then
yes.
You think Valentine, you think love. And then, you think about me, I fight with love. so it is kind of like a perfect name for me, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. So thank you for putting me in deeper thought.
I'm just saying, you gotta decipher these things. This is what makes the nickname great. And also, all right, we talked about the wrestling side of things, but you and Shelly Aphrodite Da Silva, okay, I'm watching these. What's great about the reality shows, we get to see a lot of great clips. And Leon Hader, your coach, black team, telling you not to hit in the face, because there is that rule, no hitting in the face. And I know Maxine Frost wants to overturn the rule, and because, Shelly, with the great line, it has to be a hashtag bite a bitch, from her bout against Audrey the Mongoose McQueen, Monique. So there's so many, great moments with the two of you, and like, for instance, you two having to share a bed. There's so many great tandems and great moments with the two of you in LFC history.
Yes, yes. Shelly and I go way back, way before LFC ever even started. So we are already soul sisters. We're already bonded, and we understand each other very well. We understand the politics. We understand the bullshit. We understand the love. We understand the hate. And I think that's what makes us as close as we are today. And I am so happy that we get to work together at the LFC. Um, because we see everything eye to eye. We're on the same page of everything, and we see what's going on around us. And, we know when we need to turn our heads. I've learned to keep my mouth shut. Shelly still doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut, but that's good. That's just Shelly. She's very vocal, and I actually am very envious of that about her. She has a strong mouth. she lets you know how she feels, and whether it's good or bad. And she's very authentic, and I think that's why I really like her as well.
And I gotta say, I've probably been following you two around the same time, because I remember both of you in OVW, and then I remember Shelly being, the Ariel character, which I had to say I had the pleasure of seeing live at the Hammerstein Ballroom for ECW, doing one of her promos. So I was very happy to see her doing her thing as the Vampire. Then, fast forward to TNA where she's Salinas with the LAX, and I think that's another one, like you mentioned, she's very authentic, but she's very good at what she does, and she's a smart and hell of a talent. So I definitely
Did you
agree
see her
with
the Freak Show? Did you see her with Sin Bodhi's Freak Show?
I did. Oh my God, that's right, yeah. And that's another thing too, because when people talk about Sin Bodhi, they'll think, oh, it's Kazarni. But I'm like, don't sleep on Kazarni. That man is so underrated, because a lot of people just see the Kazarni presentation. I'm like, that dude has got a lot to offer. Don't sleep on Sin Bodhi. So I agree with you, absolutely. The Freak Show was amazing.
Yes, and I'm doing things with Black Canary for him as well. And I wish his show could continue to start back up, because I love doing it. And to be honest with you, the LLC all started because of that show, because of his show, the Freak Show. I would travel to Vegas. I would do his shows for free because he's a good friend of mine, and I want to, do as many shows as I could. And the LSC people, I think it was Leon, I think he was there and he saw me, and then that's how my LSC started. So if it wasn't for me doing the Freak Show, the LSC wouldn't be here for me today. So it's just amazing how one opportunity leads to another opportunity, and your life just evolves into these places where you would have never imagined it to go. So it's awesome. Mm-hmm.
I think the parallels with that are absolutely amazing, and I think also with the dynamic, I just have to mention this as well. I think because when you mentioned Leon, and Leon is just a good dude. I mean, black team coach, you got Joel on the pink team. The dynamic between those two are amazing. The dynamic between both teams are absolutely amazing. And one dynamic I have to mention, so you've had great bouts in LFC with Riley Nuclear Harris, Terry Feisty Fist London, Cali Cat. I mean, there's disqualification victories, there's knockout victories, there's submission victories, and yes, you talk about being 0 for 3, but I gotta tell you, each and every one of those fights were memorable, and you made your mark, but there's one thing I have to ask you about. So you and Terry Feisty Fist London, what's up with the attire? Because they were both very similar there, Jen.
That wasn't planned. I don't know. I really don't know, but that definitely was not planned. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. We just great minds think alike, I guess.
I mean, you're both fashionistas, so I mean, you both looked very lovely. So I mean, it's a great minds think alike. Representing the black team, representing the pink team. It both made for an interesting fight, and it made for an interesting sight with your entrances, because both very similar, both very both very colorful and lovely.
Yes. I'm going to try to come up with something different for this next show coming up, where I'm wrestling Vatira, or fighting Vatira, should I say. I get mixed up, fighting, wrestling. It's all the same in my mind. I'm all about going for a win. So yeah, I'm gonna try to find something different to wear for this next upcoming show. Think a little bit less lacy and maybe more edgy. I want to look more. I want to look more badass.
All right.
I have to go shopping and see what I can find. But definitely I will not be looking like Vatira. So it's going to be totally different than what it was with Terry, for sure.
I cannot wait. We got LFC 26. We got, just the Nerd Bar, April 4th. Check it out. It's going to be streaming on YouTube. The links will be in the description where you guys can check that out for LFC. So I'll put this in the description of the audio. But I got a couple final things I want to add, and I'm going to tell you this, Miss Jennifer Thomas, Miss Jenny Bloody Valentine, whatever you want to call yourself. I call you a lovely human being and a friend. So anytime you want to come back on this show, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because my life is always evolving and always changing, and there's always going to be something new to talk about. So I definitely would love to come back on your show and let you know what the next chapter of my life is going to be. So definitely,
Okay.
I'd be happy to be on.
Thank you. Couple final points I will make. So Karma, now since you mentioned starting as Karma, now I have the vision of if Awesome Kong did not get that name and for her short stint in WWE, and we see the vignettes with her flipping the Barbie dolls and flicking the heads off of it. Just picturing you being the beast and just the actual animalistic and just vicious as we were. We mentioned a lot of words describing you today, Miss Jennifer Thomas, but you just flicking off Barbie dolls and just going out there on a rampage. You as that Karma, you got me picturing that now because that's true. Because Karma, WWE, you were OG Karma, so I think that's very interesting. You got me visualizing, looking into it.
I know. Isn't it so weird, though, like how it kind of has evolved into that? Because Karma, they took my name Karma, right? First of all, here I am training my ass off, every single training session plus some, trying to be like the best diva out there, or trying to be like this, just following my dreams, following my heart. So here I am thinking like Johnny Ace is head of talent relations. He calls me. I hear his voice on the phone. And yes, Jennifer Thomas? And I'm like, yes. He goes, and I'm like thinking, oh my God, this is my moment of finally being like hired, signed contract, everything with WWE. And he's all like, we would like to buy your name off of you. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, Karma? And he goes, yes. So I ended up selling my name Karma to WWE, and I was kind of butthurt, like, well, why don't you want me to, I'm the real Karma. And they gave it to Awesome Kong, and she was made up to be a diva destroyer. That was her whole gimmick. She lasted 3 months, and then she disappeared. So I always have it, like, if I ever do another promo for WWE, because sometimes I still work with WWE when they're on the West Coast, to do a promo, like, see, this is what you get when you don't take the real Karma, because I would have stuck around. I would still be there. Do you see what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. So it's just kind of like Karma.
I hear you. By the way, when you mentioned, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree, but when you said Johnny Ace, I was waiting for you to start getting into, laryngitis voice and just start doing a good old Johnny Ace.
Yeah, I would love to do that impersonation, but I'm horrible at it. Oh. Who's really great at doing that is Aaron Stevens. I don't know if you know who he is. Idol.
One Damian Sandow, yes. Oh.
Yes, he is so great at impersonation. So if he was here with me right now, he could totally give you the Johnny laryngitis impersonation. So.
That's another guy. Oh, okay. You see, now you got me sidetracked for a second, but I got to mention this. Aaron the Idol Stevens and Casey James. What a tag team that was, right? With the teacher's pets and Michelle McCool. I mean, come on. So underrated.
Yep, I know. I know. It's so crazy. And Aaron is out here in LA, and I see him occasionally. But it's amazing where you see such great potential, and you can see where it could have gone. It just didn't stick around long enough to go anywhere great, because they were all great characters together.
And I think also, I agree.
Do you remember Cherry and Domino and what's his name?
Well, Jennifer Thomas, same wavelength here, because I was just about to mention you had the one, I believe it was a Cara Slice, Cherry with Deuce and Domino, yes. Sim Snuka, Cliff Compton. You know what it is too, because I see her, right. I see her in OVW, and then you see her coming to the main roster because the girl is actually, she's talented, she's very talented. But I thought she did the very the 50s, the want to take her to the sock hop kind of deal very well. They were all about cool. I thought what they had, it worked well. I mean, you had memorable moments with them, Matt Hardy and MVP for the tag titles. So many moments with Kendrick and London, and I mean, come on, that was another one. Yes, so underrated with Deuce and Domino. That's right.
I know. And like I said, it's been such an amazing experience being able to train with them and work with them and go on the road with them and do shows. It's just like I am grateful for where my life has been and where it's taking me. So yes, to work with such great talents as everybody that I've been able to be with, and I know that there's going to be future talent people out there that I haven't even met yet. that's going to help me grow as a person, whether it be my skills or just life in general. So yeah.
Girl, you're making me all smiles just thinking about that. But I also have to mention this because they're with WWE now. Serena Deeb, who is absolutely amazing in the Straight Edge Society and all around, she's a trainer there, was also with your OVW class. You had, oh my God, Natty. That's another one. You have to be in there with Natty, Natalia Neidhart.
I know that's a real match with Beth Phoenix and Mandy Orton. Like, that was so much an amazing experience because they're so amazing talent. Like when you talk about full package deal female wrestlers, Natty and Beth Phoenix are on the top of my list for that.
My God, the
So,
Divas of Doom. Are you kidding me? I love them as the Divas of Doom. Yes.
yes.
Oh, and then I mean,
So I've been privileged.
and I mean, Jen. Also, I think like with the like we mentioned Mae Young, and I'll mention this really quickly. Like you see so many talents in the Mae Young Classic that are coming through and getting their break, which I love because you're solidifying legacy that is Mae Young. One of them, I believe, you also got to get in there with Nicole Matthews. Nicole Matthews up in there in Canada.
Did I? I don't remember. I seriously don't remember.
Okay, so I was doing more.
I've been in the ring so many times and been with so many different opponents.
Let me see if I can refresh your memory. Nikki Matthews, Extreme Canadian Championship Wrestling.
Where was this? Was it in Canada? Was I in Canada?
Yes, you were in Canada. I was looking up, I'm like, that's cool because we got to talk about that, and that applies with WWE because hey, Mae Young Classic, and it looks like we're gonna have a third one. So I mean, you look at you, and I love it just because you get to be with such veterans, and whether it be up and comers or just whatever you're doing with session wrestling is wonderful. So yes, I just had to bring that up because I'm like, all right, so we get to mention Canada, we get to talk about LC because you were just all over the place.
Well, I get so busy with my life that sometimes it literally becomes a blur. So thank you for reminding me. I do remember one show I did in Canada, a pro wrestling show, and that was years ago. That was probably like 7 years ago or more.
Okay. And on a side note, you don't need to apologize for that because I had Trinity on this show, the great Trinity from TNA, and she was also in OVW around that time. FBI, Full Blooded Towns on UECW. I asked her a question exactly like that, and she said, "Yeah, you're gonna have to remind me." So I mean, I understand it's the tolls and the sacrifices in the ring, so I understand. It's no worries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to talk about your bodybuilding for a second here, Jen, because I mean. Geez, Emerald Cup, Florida Championships, Muscle Mania. I mean, you're looking just so well, and you're still just like absolutely wonderful. I'll put you over with the utmost sincerity and respect all day, every day, 24/7. Putting the lingo in there with it, Jen. But I gotta say this: 7-Eleven, looking at a lot of magazines. I remember Triple H on the cover of Flex, but I think for you having to get the chance and privilege to be on the cover of Flex, that had to be great for you because that's one of the biggest bodybuilding magazines in the world.
I don't recall being on the cover. I know I was in Flex. I know I did something with I had an article with me in Oxygen magazine and Muscle Mag, and I think there was another one. Again, like I forget magazines, like I forget matches. But yes, I've had, my whole journey started with fitness. Basically me starting running and then taking on the weights, and then I never knew that my body had such good genetics for muscle building, and I took off with it. And it's been the opening page, the opening chapter for the book of my life. So yeah, it keeps me strong, and I definitely don't want to lose it. I don't want to fall off the bandwagon. I don't want to be like one of those years when you see me 40 pounds heavier one year and then 40 pounds lighter another year, and back and forth. I like to maintain a certain look. I believe that whenever you're playing a character, especially in the wrestling business, you want to be believable. And when I walk out on that stage or in that ramp, I want people to say, holy shit, she looks like she could do some damage. So my physical self is just as important as my character. I have to look the part, so I appreciate your compliments. I do have my weaknesses. I have a weakness for 7-Eleven donuts, midnight. I'll have a couple of those, and then I'll try to run it off like the next day, 5 months. So it's a battle, but it's a battle I've been able to keep in check for the most part.
Nay.
And I love physical fitness. I'm addicted to it. See, I have an addiction it's bayonets in the treadmill.
All right, now, okay, like I agree with you. We have treadmills in the house. Fitness is very important, and I love it. But I gotta say to you, you talk about 7-Eleven donuts. We got Krispy Kreme all over here. So when the light is on, you talking. I'm not talking Christopher Cross style. It's all right. The light is on. I'm talking about the light is on at Krispy Kreme donuts. I do have my weaknesses as well, so I hear you. I absolutely hear you.
Yes, yes. We don't have many Krispy Kremes over here, but there's a 7-Eleven on every corner, and I know they have like a little case full of donuts, and I just, when it's 24 hours, so and there's one right around the corner from my house too, so I just can't help it. Like I said, I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses, so it's all good as long as it's all in moderation and there's some balance to it. I'm not going to beat myself up over it because sometimes I can be my own worst enemy. So, yes.
Well, I got to tell you this: whether you're, just getting it on with your fitness, wrestling, LFC, there's a lot of greatness and a lot of more greatness to be told with you, Miss Jennifer Thomas. And I always love asking this question because you, LFC, pro wrestling, fitness, you are just absolutely, to quote the great Ric Flair, you are styling and profiling at what you do. So if you have any advice to give to the guys and gals that want to get into bodybuilding, wrestling, LFC with the ladies, whatever you want, just tell them, let everybody know what they could do. Just if you have that advice, what advice would you give?
Hang on. Let me take this back. Did you say styling and pro-violence? Is that what you said?
Yeah, styling and profiling, Ric Flair.
Okay. Okay. I love that. Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. That's awesome. No.
What did you think I said?
Okay. I liked it.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
See, that just goes to show my wrestling knowledge because I had no idea that was one of Ric Flair's things.
Okay, go ahead. What advice would you give, kid?
I like that.
Awesome. So what advice would you give, kid, to the up and comers?
Yeah, right. See, and that's one of my other weaknesses. I don't know the history of wrestling. Like, I don't know. Like, when I grew up, all I paid attention was Hogan in China. That's all I really knew. I didn't know all the. So when I went to OVW, like I said, I didn't know who any of these people were. I just knew that they were doing the same thing I wanted to do. So I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning. So thank you for giving me a piece of knowledge to do.
That's no problem.
But my advice would be to others is just, I always want to say follow your heart. Okay, you have to say yes to opportunities. Don't think that you're not good enough to say yes to an opportunity or that you're not ready for it. Say yes and see how it pans out. Most of the time, those opportunities, they're oh, you could do this and that, and I say yes to it, then it's like falls off the face of the planet, and half of them don't even work out. But be open. Be open to new things. Be open to trying new things that are going to take you outside of your comfort zone. Don't be stuck on one thing. Like I could have been stuck on bodybuilding and fitness. And if I would have just stayed fully focused on that, it wouldn't have taken me to wrestling. You have to keep an open mind and just do what you love to do. I've always known that. I've always been an athlete. I love being physical. And I'm like, well, how do I make money from being an athlete? I'm not going to be in the Olympics or anything like that. I'm not going to be a pro basketball player, that's for sure. So what do I do with myself? Well, when I went to Venice Beach to pursue my fitness and wrestling, that I met pro wrestlers at Venice Beach, at the gym. I would have not done any of the wrestling stuff if it wasn't for those people that I ran into during my journey of fitness. But I kept myself an open mind. I met Rick Bassman. You just basically let the doors open up for you and don't be scared for them to open. Because one thing in my life is I don't want to live life with regret. I know I've made dumb mistakes and I've made dumb decisions, but those are all learning lessons, and those are learning lessons that make you even stronger in the future. So, just go with it. If it feels right to you, do it. Don't ever put yourself down or think negative thoughts about yourself saying that you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not whatever. Because the sky is the limit, and you do create your own reality. However, I do believe that there is a special force out there that will provide those openings for you, and it's up to you whether you walk through those openings. or deny them. And I want everybody to walk through them, because even if it seems to be a curse at the moment, those curses turn out to be some of the greatest blessings. So it all works out, and everything will always work out, no matter what. Just believe in yourself. And my life did not turn out the way I wanted it in the beginning. I'm supposed to be a famous, WWE superstar, signing autographs and being at big events and being on WrestleMania. Did that ever happen for me? No. Do I think of myself as a failure? No, because other paths opened up for me that allowed me to do what I love and still have my freedom and make a living out of it. So, anyways, those are my words of wisdom.
Girl, that was beautifully said. Like, I mean, you nailed it, and it's absolutely 100% true what you said. I mean, like I said, you made a mark, UPW, OVW, whatever you're doing, you're just making that mark, and it's always a joy, and it puts a smile on my face to see what you're doing, Miss Jennifer Thomas. So I thought that was well said. And, man.
But let me say one other thing. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
This is very important, and probably one of the most important things in this whole entire interview.
Okay.
That I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to you for being someone that has such passion for wrestling, that you do your research, that you followed it ever since you were a kid. I want to say thank you to people that I haven't even met yet that have been my fans throughout the years. I want to say thank you to the men that have bought me things off my Amazon wish list. And thank you to all the people that appreciate my work, because I don't even, like I said, I haven't even met you or how many others that know me. And I want to make sure that when I have this opportunity like I do now to, with people listening to this podcast, to say thank you, and that I am grateful that you have appreciated Jennifer Thomas throughout the years. And I only plan on giving you more and more new exciting stuff in the future. And I'm excited to do it for all of you, all of the world, and for myself. So that's what I wanted to say.
Please, and first and foremost, to quote Queen Latifah, "Ladies first." You're not cutting me off on that. It's not just a Queen Latifah song. It's very important in life. Ladies first. Chivalry's not dead. Boom. Had to be said. Now, back to the next part about that. Now, you mentioned Chyna, and I'll just say this. Very happy to see Chyna going into the Hall of Fame this year as a part of D-Generation X, very integral group in pro wrestling history. We got Tori Wilson going to the Hall of Fame. They announced the Honky Tonk Man. We're going to hear more coming up with the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2019. But yes, like you mentioned, Chyna, big influence. MMA pro wrestling tie-ins that we've seen with Ken Shamrock, Tank Abbott, and WCW. I'm talking about Ronda Rousey now, Shayna Baszler, and the whole four horsewomen there in NXT. Lingerie Fighting Championship got a mix of MMA wrestling, so the tie-ins are great. Jennifer Thomas, you are great, and I gotta say one thing, last thing with LFC, because there's already a little bit of turmoil here because it has been put out on the YouTube. We showed the LFC 25. We were talking about the draft. One of the latest members of the team is Maria Romano. She is on the black team, and one Joel Kane was going out there saying, hey, she's about a couple years before, her pension. And, she's old. She's 49. Leon, what are you doing? And then Leon, speaking, because you mentioned research, Leon said, well, Feather Haddon, the inaugural LFC champion, had to retire due to injury, was in her 40s when she retired. So, Joe Kane, what are you doing? That's all I had to say about that.
Yeah. You know what? Like I said, there's no limitations. Why should age be a limit? I'm 45 years old, okay? So I'm up there myself. But I'm still moving the same way I was when I was in my 20s and my 30s. So, as far as I'm concerned, age means nothing.
Exactly.
So yeah, I give kudos to all the women that, that are on the older side that are doing awesome stuff. It just goes to show the power of women, not putting limitations to themselves. So yes.
And I love Joel Kane, but my God. Well, I mean, he's doing something right because the former champ, Monica Flowerbomb Garcia, the beautiful Flowerbomb, who was on your team, the former champ, Roxy Roundhouse Michaels is the champ on the pink team. So it's going to be very interesting to see in these upcoming bouts. First one, April 4th. What's going down with the black team, pink team? Who's going to be the champ? Will Roxy hold on to that belt? I can't wait. I really can't wait.
I know. It's definitely going to be exciting. I can't wait for it. It's just, it's going to be one of those, amazing developments where you just don't know, and you're like, the only thing that's going to give the answers is time, and we're going to all find out soon, especially on April 4th, and I look forward to getting my ass Vegas and getting with the opponent and showing her what's up. Miss Jenny Bloody Valentine.
I
So
cannot
yeah.
wait. I cannot wait. And I'm smiling ear to ear, and I'm going to be smiling ear to ear because this is where I step back again with that ladies first, because we're talking Facebook, we're talking Twitter, Instagram, sessiongirls.com. Jennifer Thomas, promote yourself. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me anywhere and everywhere, but mostly Instagram actually, and Session Girls. I'm not very good at social media. I need help on that. But yeah, Instagram, Russell Jennifer Thomas, and Session Girls, which is me, Jennifer Thomas. That's where you're gonna find the most of me. Um, yeah, so that's it for now. But trust me, there's gonna be more places later. I'm gonna add on to that list.
Okay,
So
that's all right. And by the way, I think there is a Twitter. It's at Real Jen Thomas, if I'm correct on that.
yeah, but I never post on it.
Well,
And you know who created my Twitter account?
who?
It wasn't even me. Guess who did it?
Who did it?
Paul Heyman himself created my Twitter account. So yeah,
It all
he gave me my Twitter at Real Jen Thomas. So yeah.
it all comes back to Heyman, and I love that. I'm not shocked at that at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Much love to Paul Heyman, and just much love to everybody in pro wrestling and the whole nine. Jennifer
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, this has been an absolute blast. I really can't wait to have you on the show again. And do you have any final words to the fans of the great Jennifer Thomas that is you? Any final words for your fans?
Just I want to say thank you. You know, thank you for following me. Thank you for being a fan. You know, and thank you for supporting the road that I took. That's definitely less traveled, and you know, and I'm always a work in progress. So stop one shot with me. But great things are going to continue to happen. So that's what I want to say.
Folks, I love this woman. She's a friend. I can't wait to have you back on the show again. Jennifer Thomas, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Mike. It was lovely to speak with you. And like I said, and like you said, let's do it again in the future.
All right. So, folks, this concludes another edition of On the Mic with Mike. For Jennifer Thomas, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you all for listening. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. I'm pleased to have on this edition of On the Mic with Mike the beautiful, the amazing, the lovely, the talented Miss Sheena. Great job at what she does with the session wrestling community. We're going to incorporate and encompass a lot in this show today. So first and foremost, Sheena, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
Hi everybody. Hello. Thank you so much for the invitation for this nice interview. I'm here actually is noon, so I just finished my morning workout because now I'm preparing for the Arnold Classic fitness competition because I need lots of challenges in my life. I like to get always some new goals besides the sessions and things. So yeah, I'm super active now.
Well, first and foremost, I got to say, before we even get into talking about how you got into the sessions, I cannot wait to see what you do in the Arnold Classic. I've always said this to you, and I'll say this to you, and we have a lot of great women like yourself in the session wrestling community and overall, like bodybuilding and fitness. I got to say, looking at your work, whether it be photos, whether it be your overall work, you have a great look. You're an absolutely beautiful human being. I can't wait to see what you do in the Arnold Classic.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, so the session. Well, I started with judo.
Mm-hmm.
I was 5 years old because I can say I am very, very lucky. I just born in the traditional judo family. So my father was my coach, and at this moment I have 4 beautiful siblings, and all of them are playing judo. So yeah, I mean, the session started I always play some martial arts. I was preparing for Olympic Games in judo. I get European gold medal in judo and lots of World Cup medals. But while I'm retired 3 years ago, I just realized that I get lots of fun who was into the session. So they just start to invite me that I know, Sheena, you stopped to play judo, but why don't you try out the session? Like, we people, we need you. We follow your judo career, and I believe you have a very good charisma to try or to do the session. So yeah, that's how I started thinking about session.
I think what's great about that too is like you have that judo background. You look at judo, you look at mixed martial arts, you even look at professional wrestling. All of them are art forms, and you carry that into your craft and what you do in honing your overall skills. So I think it's a great asset for you and for a lot of people getting into the industry.
Yes, so I mean they like not only my judo skills, they were very attracted by my shape, so my physiques, and I can say I'm genetically very lucky because I get always naturally very good muscles. Of course, in the same time I had to work on it. So in my judo past I was training daily 6 7 hours, so that can see on my body. But yeah, what was the question? Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. First and foremost, I was actually just gonna follow up with. I mean, you look at bodybuilding, you look at fitness. I think with yourself, I look at you, and I'm gonna say this right now. When I was a kid, like I would go into 7-Eleven with my mother. You see all here in the states like flex, muscle, and fitness, and I see people like yourself, and I've always said I enjoyed that work ethic about it because the time it takes to go to the gym, to do sit-ups, to do curls, what have you, and just to get your body in the condition that you were in, and so many people. I've always admired that. So I think once more again from that aspect, I just wanted to say you have that with the way you look, you're muscular. You put a lot of work into it, and you have a great work ethic. So I just wanted to again compliment you on that, and I think that helps from the fitness standpoint, that helps from the bodybuilding standpoint, and it helps with your craft and your overall wrestling.
Yeah, it helps a lot in sessions, in every part in my life. So people really like how I'm looking. They questioning me not only in sessions, like how I get this shape, and yeah, I mean, you need a professional lifestyle for it. I'm really eating very healthy foods. I have to cook for myself, which I don't like. This is the hardest part. So yeah, I really appreciate, because some clients are really nice in session. They know that I eat very healthy food, so they just bring for me some healthy foods. Yeah, because they know sometimes I get lots of bookings, like 6 7 8 9 hours. It can happen in one day. So they know I don't really have time for it, and this time they bring me some good meals, which I really appreciate. And yeah, so actually I'm 28 years old, and my goals was always to try out myself in the fitness life, because um, I think I just have to show myself in this sport as well. And so I started more focus on it. 2 years ago, I tried the European Championship, where I get only ninth place, and the World Cup, Diamond Cup, I get silver medal. And now in the session, in the last 2 years, I get plus 10 kilograms. I don't know how many pounds is it. I have no idea, but it's a lot. So because I was wrestling really a lot, and yeah, I just started really growing because the guys want to feel my strength. I always have to dominate them with my strength, with my power, which costs lots of energy. So yeah.
Yeah, I think also too, just going back to the eating for a second, nothing says way to a woman's heart than just bringing them some great meals. So yeah, I get that, because I'll be honest with you, and I love her. My mother was never like the best. I'm going to say that she even admits that she's not the best cook, and she hates cooking as well. But she is just also one of those people that, like, when it comes to food, that's what I always admired by my mother. So I get that, what you were saying about the food. But what's also great, what's also great about you is I look at like we talk about jujitsu, we talk about mixed martial arts, we talk about pro wrestling. With you, I've seen a lot of your work with ankle chokes. There's head scissors. There's body scissors, and I've always admired that from a wrestling standpoint, because nowadays when you look at pro wrestling, it's more like maneuvers that are high octane aerial assault. But I always enjoyed like the strong style, like grappling, like systematic dissection joint manipulation, and I think people can see that in your work and see why the true pro that you are, because you make it fun for those that you session with, and you provide a overall experience for your clientele.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm trying to push the session more on the fun way. Actually, I learned a lot of new technique submissions in the United States because they're really popular, the pro wrestling, you know. In Europe, here not really. So, and I'm very, very impressed by pro wrestling because there were why we had some custom clips and the session. They really want to see lots of submissions and techniques from pro wrestling. So I had to learn there, and I actually learned a lot. Now when I will be back in the States after I finish with my fitness competitions, uh, I really want to go to the pro wrestling school to learn more so I can give better service. I can give a better show for the clips, for my fans, for my clients. I like to always learning and give just my best for them really because I really appreciate they give me lots of I really get lots of support and love from my fans and from my clients, and it gives me lots of power.
I think with you, it's just because when you talk about the power aspect, you resonate and you also generate with the people, and I think that goes a long way. Just because when people look at like also getting into session wrestling, they say, "Hey, I want to do what Sheena does," because you see with you again, just professionalism, but you have that prentice, you have that presence about you that really just and it's really also like an infectious energy. It's like, my God, we get to see what you do with sessions, and people want to session with you. So I think it's overall. I'm going to say this, Sheena, it's your overall aura that really attracts a lot of people into your work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess it's I was born naturally with this because maybe I always had to train with boys since I was a kid. So I really know how to handle the guys, even if they are cocky sometimes. That's the best part for me because it gives me some challenge, you know.
Of course.
So, but actually, yeah, I really respect men and I like to sessioning, training with them, everything because I always want to show them that woman can be really very very strong and and I it's just no good words. How can I explain how much I like the session?
Well, here's the thing, and I'll say this to you. First and foremost, as a male, and I always, like I said, I treat women with respect and love. And I'll say two of my biggest influences in my life are my mother, who just had her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom, and my grandmother, God rest her soul. So I look at it like this: they are who made me who I am today, and why I respect and love women and treat them with the respect, dignity, and that they deserve. But I also look at it like this because some of us men, we do have diarrhea of the mouth. We do talk a lot of crap, and I'll say that it happens. I've been guilty of it myself. So sometimes we just need to be put in our place, get a little hold on, little head scissors, take us down, put us down a little peg. So I get it. You like the session. Us men sometimes need a little kick in the butt. So I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah. There are many type of of the session what they prefer for. So that's why I like to learn to give them the best service, because someone, yeah, as you said, the Caesars, they just want to feel my strength while I'm scissoring them, and so I started work extra for my legs, for my thighs, that I can give the strongest scissor which they ever take in their life because there are lots of scissor fonts. So yeah, I really try to be the best in each of part because all the guys is different and I never gonna give the same session service because everybody wants to feel or get a different. Everybody have a bit different kind of fetish. Somebody like more the Caesar, somebody prefer to be down, like they curious of my real martial arts skills which I want to show. Somebody want to fight with me in the G, like to show my judo knowledge. Somebody just want that I'm flexing, they just wanna see how strong I am, or some strength test. And I mean, yeah, there are many things and type of the session which I have to give for them, and I'm just really just try to learn and I like to speaking with them what they like, why they like it, so as I'm gonna understand them more, in the same time I can give better service, right?
Of course, and it's like a chess game. It's not chess, it's checkers. It's really getting into a person's mind. And actually, you brought up just a great point there, Sheena, because there's a lot of different people out there, and I got to say, us as human beings, we're all very unique. We like different types of stuff. So when it comes to sessions, you get to switch it up, whether it be scissors, biceps. There's a lot of great things that people are into, and it really gets into one's psyche.
Exactly. Hmm.
So I think with you as well, and I also will say this, when it comes to getting into people's psyche, it's you just, when you look at like flexing your biceps, whether it just be scissors, I think that also helps. And you were talking about Europe and coming to the States, and I mean, there's so many great wrestling schools, and there's so many great MMA academies, there's so many great combative, sports academies out there. That's great, and I've always appreciated that from the wrestling standpoint, because you see, there's a lot of great talents in the UK, Puerto Rico, what have you. We also get to learn from each other's repertoires. I think that's what's great from the transition from the States to European styles and so far and so forth, that what we reciprocate. So it's great to learn other people's styles as well with repertoires.
Yeah. So yeah, they like in United States, they like more my I mean, the people appreciate my skills in the session and my strength, my power. So they gonna say that it's incredible how strong I am, because I have done many clips where I was lifting 2 guys or 3 girls or whatever. So there is no limit for me.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, you do a lot of lift and carries as well as and I've seen you do a lot of work with like Jet Star. I've seen you do stuff with Princess Nikki. I've seen you do a lot of great stuff there as well. Mini Manga. So I mean, you do a lot of that, and also I think what's great about you besides the lift and carry, there's a lot of arm wrestling vids that you've done. So I mean, it's the strength, it's the lifting, and like I said, it makes for a great session, makes for overall great films as well. Like I said, your body of work speaks for itself.
Yes, but about acting, while we are filming, it's kind of show. You have to improvise because we get some scenario, but it's just about the submissions. So you have to improvise many times, and luckily, I'm not going to say that all I made alone by myself, where I am now, because I have met with lots of very great session girls who I was learning from, because everybody very good in everybody have their own beauty or their own specialists, which I'm trying to learn from them. Not all of them were professional, had a sport background.
Yes.
But I really respect them a lot, because some of girls just started doing sessions without any sport background, but they didn't care. They weren't worried about to meet with a strong guy. They just started fighting with them, and this is the thing which I didn't see before in the professional sport life, because we have to care about each other. We did everything step by step. First, learning how to fall, then learning the basic techniques. And these girls, they just didn't care, like, okay, let's wrestle. What they want to get knockout. Okay, let's choke them. So I mean, these girls are really badass, and I really like them in the session life. So I learned a lot from them, and I have a lot of respect for them. And of course, I appreciate for the clients, because they give us lots of support, a lot, and this combination, I mean, made beautiful this life here.
It is. There's a lot of badass women there, and we mentioned just the likes, like we mentioned. There's Des Desire there. We've seen you do work with Mark Gagliardi. We've seen Scissor Foxes as well. I think what's great about that too is there's a lot of badass people out there. There's a lot of great pros out there to work with, both men and female. And again, I mentioned it shows with your work, and you mentioned the beauty, strength, and dominance part, so I'm going to add this to it. I've always believed in the mindset of beauty, strength, and dominance, the 3 key elements that make women the work of art. So I'm just going to stop right now and say that you, Miss Sheena, are a true work of art, and I gotta say, I can't wait to see you just continue on your path and shine.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. I mean, I think that's the way you have to have it because, I mean, I'll say this right now. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people get shamed, and whether it be just for their body types, their size, and even some people like muscular women like yourself. And I think it's really horrible because I think you have to have an open mind. You have to see people for the work of art that they are. It's like looking at a painting. You know what I'm saying? You know, just whether it be like, for instance, your photos are absolutely immaculate. Whether you're doing a photo shoot, whether you're doing videos, it truly shows the work of art that you are, that you put in your craft, and how you can, you know, your overall size, your beauty, what have you. So it just shows from those minute details that we see in your work.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really just trying my best, and I just started 2 years ago, and these 2 years was really flying very very quick, and I'm just started a bit worried about like how many years I can take the sessions, because I really enjoy it. The time runs very fast, and so I just try to give my maximum now.
By the way, I also wanted to just backtracking for a second here. You said you're 28. I'm 27. I'm going to be 28 in April. So I gotta say, from someone who are similar in ages, I think we're both very passionate at our crafts. Like, I love giving people the platform to tell their story, like we're doing here today. And you just have that great work ethic. So I got to say, from two passionate people right here, I also do agree with your mindset. So like I said, I cannot wait, and I truly wish you nothing but continued success.
Yeah, I was actually talking with some of the session wrestlers. Of course, everybody know Jennifer Thomas, and she's
Yes.
still active, and I really really feel so many respects her, because it was one of my dreams to meet her, because she just created the sessionwrestler.com, and which is amazing.
Mhm.
And luckily I met her a couple of times already. I really like her personality, and these ladies in the session, I can tell they never get old. They always beautiful. They always so energetic, and I don't know, but here is some magic in this life.
There
So I
is.
never want to get off from this for sure.
Well, let me tell you something about. I'm actually very glad that you brought that up because she was in my notes. We got to talk about Jennifer Thomas, a pioneer in the session wrestling community. I mean, another one who just amazing with her skill, amazing looking. Just, I mean, she is just someone, like we mentioned, who just, she's never gonna age. She's like a fine wine; she gets better with time. So there's someone right there who's done her thing in OVW and UPW and under the WWE umbrella and auspices. But I gotta say, for what she did for the session wrestling community and what she still continues to do, you gotta give much love and respect to Miss Jennifer Thomas.
I really love her.
She is, and that's the thing. Like, you don't get, like you mentioned, you don't get old in that. And personally, I'll say this right now: it doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the size, but the work that she puts into it, and the work that you're going to continue to put into it. I mean, 2 years. I mean, that's just the start right there. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter.
I know. So I just have to remember of Jennifer Thomas, and I don't need to worry about this, that all of that when I gonna stop it.
True.
Maybe never.
But that's the thing. It also just applies to life as well and your overall spirit. It doesn't matter if it's months, 2 years. You work your ass off and you just keep going, girl.
As much long the clients needs me, I'm not going to stop for sure.
You're not, like I said, and I'm going to say this to you right now. I mentioned the beauty, strength, and dominance aspect. Jennifer Thomas also, and I'm going to say this right now, does a lot of great work with Lingerie Fighting Championships under the Jenny Bloody Valentine moniker. Now, I got to ask you, we got Lingerie Fighting Championship with a mixture of MMA, pro wrestling, jiu-jitsu, but these are girls that are also kicking butt and looking sexy while they're doing it in their lingerie, and a lot of great talents that we've seen in the session world are actually involved with Lingerie Fighting Championship. So, Sheena, I'm going to ask you, looking at the Lingerie Fighting Championship product, is that something you would want to be interested in the future?
Oh, definitely. I'm interested of anything where the fight is. So I mean, that I think that's the best way to show the females female skills in some sexy outfit, right?
Of course, and I think personally, I'm going to say this right now as someone who does their podcast and loves the work that I do with them. You are just a great fit of that. I mean, lingerie, and I always look at it like this because WWE used to have the moniker of sexy, beautiful, and powerful, and they used to incorporate and encompass a lot of that back in the day, and it still shows now with women's wrestling as well and MMA. And I always equated to Invicta, which is Shannon Knapp's promotion, which we've seen WWE alumni there and UFC alumni as well. So it's really just Invicta with less clothing, but it's still kicking ass and you're looking sexy while you're doing it. So personally, that's something I would also be intrigued with because we get to see what type of lingerie you come out with and just how you look and your overall presentation of your character and thus more. So like I said, I hope to see you in LFC soon. I think you'd be a great fit.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a very, very sexy combination. I think so, and I'm I'm very, very excited because I always want to try out it's UFC or MMA. I don't know which one I have to say exactly.
Well, here's the thing. And firstly, actually, that's a great question. You look at Lingerie Fighting Championship. It really encompasses. It's women's mixed martial arts, but there's a lot of backgrounds with wrestling, jiu-jitsu, MMA. So it's really a whole lot. But it's women's mixed martial arts mixed with wrestling. So you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because also in the session, I try to keep my beauty. So I know the guys. That's why they like me. Like I'm very strong, I'm very skilled, but in the same time they're saying like you look still feminine. So that's a combination which they like. And even in this fight which you just mentioned now, we could be really, really very brutal, but in the sexy dress. So I think it's a good combination.
It is, and I'm gonna say this first and foremost. That combination's good. Just keep the combination that you got. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We talk about work of arts, but the people talk about the jack of all trades. You got to put it on the other side. You're like a Jill of all trades. You can do whatever. Just boom, you're in there.
I'm ready to show my sexy muscles while I'm fighting with the girls.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. If it worked for the great genetic freak that is Scott Steiner, you got to see him in wrestling showing those pecs and showing those biceps. It works. It's a combination. It's a taunt, but hey, it encompasses you, so I'm all about that.
Just one question.
Yes.
When should I start?
Oh my goodness! Start as soon as possible. Like I said, and also for those that are into Lingerie Fighting Championship, just please, just go to the website. I know a lot of people are going to listen to this and want to see some Sheena up in there. Like, do your thing and just encompass, do your thing. MMA, pro wrestling, the whole nine. My God! And like I said, you're Jill of all trades. I'm going to switch it up and flip the script there. You're Jill of all trades. I think anything that you put your mind to, session, Lingerie Fighting Championship, you were just going to do absolutely great.
Yeah, everything. Pro wrestling, lingerie fight, everything. I love that all.
And I will say, when you're in the States, I look forward to seeing what you do and just training as well, just not just with sessions, but whatever school that you go to. I mean, I think for them, I think that's going to be a joyous occasion because we get to see people like you go in there and just apply and work your craft. So I'm going to say once more, you're just going to continue to shine, and I really can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. And I mean, from like we mentioned, from your Warrior Amazons, your Goddess and Nats, your Desi Desires, your Mark Gagliardis, your Mini Mangas, your Jet Stars, your Biancas, each and everybody, and I'm going to say this, in the session wrestling world, I give each and everybody much love and respect to. I give people much love and respect like yourself, Sheena. Sheena, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to actually make the overture to you. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome. It's been really a blessing, and it's been a pleasure and a privilege talking to you today.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate so much.
You're very welcome. I mean, as someone who's very passionate and loves his craft and loves what people do in their craft, it's always a joy to see great people like yourself shine. So I guess the final thing I wanted to ask you is, because you talk about getting into the industry and your backgrounds and your overall art form that we encompassed a lot in the show today, do you have any advice for any girl that wants to get involved in the session wrestling community and do great things like yourself, Miss Sheena?
Well, they don't need to worry about if they are not enough skilled or they don't feel that they are enough strong for this. If they feel inside like they are a dominant woman and they would like to fight against the guys or they want to kick some guy's ass, I'm gonna tell that they should try out and very welcome in this life, because I promise we all girl are very very helpful, and we support each other, and we just try to really help for each other. We are not an enemies, like we are not against each, but we are with each other. So and guys for sure gonna appreciate them. So I'm just saying that they don't need to worry to get into the session. This is a very very beautiful, I can tell actually it's a very huge family.
It is, and I think that's what also makes it the great thing that it is. It's the camaraderie factor, and just each and every one of you girls do to have a professional and a wonderful experience for your clientele.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of it, and my family proud of it as well. And I can tell it was the best decision in my life that I choose to get into the session. That's what I can say.
That first and foremost, beautifully said, Miss Sheen, and I think you're doing your family proud, and you're doing a lot of people proud. So again, I'm very happy just to not only just talk with you in this forum today, but getting to know a great human being like yourself. So for that, Miss Sheen, I thank you.
Thank you too.
You're very welcome. Now, before we even close this out, I'm gonna give you the floor, Miss Sheena. Please promote your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and whatever up and coming events you have coming up. The floor is yours. So please go ahead and promote yourself.
Okay, so you can contact me by email. It's sessiongirlsheena gmail.com, and my website is sheenawrestler.com if I could remember. And yeah, the Twitter Sheena Wrestler, and in Instagram as Sheena Wrestler. They can easily find me out. This all of the pages are connected with each other, so you can easily find me out, or even just into Google.
Well, first of all, I like that style. I was like, Google me, baby. Put me in the search engine. Here I come. Here, Sheena. No, I dig that because everything's so accessible now, and that's great that you have it easily linked. But the links will be in the description below this interview that we conducted today. So, but I'll say this to you first and foremost as well, and I'm going to say this to the people. People, if you're not following Sheena on Twitter and Instagram, it's a great follow. From your photo shoots, from you just in the gym curling and being the absolute beast and phenomenon that you are, she's a great follow. So please follow Sheena on all social media platforms. And Sheena, Sheena, do you have any final words for your fans as well? That's been supporting you since day one, since you first got into the session wrestling industry. Do you have any final words for your fans, Miss Sheena?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't understand.
Oh, no problem. I'll repeat. Do you have any final words for your fans that have been supporting you since day one?
I have a lot of fans, and I get actually a lot of support from them. So I just want to tell them that follow me. I'm trying to updating daily something new if they want to get more into my life, my daily life, and yeah, that's all. Just
Oh no, that's
follow me or book me a session, and I'm gonna show you guys really what's the real female strength. If you guys want to feel a really powerful lady who has some sarcasm while I'm sessioning, and yeah, I mean, I just try to push the session on the funny way. So I want that they enjoy in the same time, but I gonna make them sweat for sure, and they always get some motivation after my session. So all the guys going to tell me like, oh, next time, Sheena, next time I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna show you. I said, oh, well, you are not the first and not the last who told me the same, but it's never happened. You never give me a challenge, and they just, okay, let's see next time. And they always book me. And now, I mean, in the second year, they were really coming back, and they actually I have to tell this story. Yeah. So the guy was bring, because I never wear kind of like ultra sexy sport bra or what for session. I tried to wear more the sporty dress.
Yes.
And there was a bet. If he gonna beat me, I have to wear in the rest of the session this bra and thong. And I told him, well, but if I gonna beat you, if I gonna kick your ass, you have to wear this dress. Well, he just couldn't beat me up.
And that's the
So
thing too. Yeah, just it's your wit. That's the two. That's also that helps because you were talking about the funny. You have to be like your wit and you're funny. It's all about accommodation and comfortability for your clientele.
I'm very confident about I'm winning. Like I really, so that's why I can have some bet with the guys.
Well, I
But
think that's
I really like it. It's very challenge for me, and it's so much fun. And yeah,
no.
and I
You're
like to make them scared sometimes while I'm submit them. So I say, that your life in my arm now, and if I'm gonna squeeze you more, or if I wanna choke you out, you can easily die. You know that? And then they just, oh, you really can kill me, Sheena. And I say, yes, this is my only decision. If I gonna kill you or not. And they get so much funny, but it's of course never happened. It's just a joke. But I like to really make them a bit scary, of my power. But they never get injured. Never. I swear they never get injured. I know when to stop, and just like that.
oh
It's so
well.
much fun.
But when you're not shutting down people's bodies and just putting on the pressure points, like I like that. You have to also incorporate the fun aspect of that. Well, no.
Even with the Caesar, I said please don't do so hard. Don't do so hard. I said, okay. I mean, I know. I don't know where is your limit. You have to tap. I said, and if I don't tap, if I'm not going to tap, I said, you're gonna nap. So.
Tap, nap, and snap. I like your style. I like your style. Miss Sheena, I gotta say this first and foremost. I cannot wait to have you back on the show. So I just wanted to leave you with these parting words. You are a beautiful woman. You are an amazing talent. You are a true professional, and you truly make it fun for everybody that you session with. So I just want to say thank you so much for your time today, and I really cannot wait to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So for Miss Sheena, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you guys for listening. I will be back in the next edition, and just please, if you're not checking out Sheena, you should. She's an amazing talent. She's a beautiful human being. And please, thank you guys so much for listening. Sheena, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.